Hey everybody, it's Derrick Ruiz from eXp Realty, your apartment broker and expert, also author, cloud agent, and I have the distinct privilege today of interviewing Mr. Glenn Sanford, who is the founder and CEO of eXp Realty, the nation's first cloud-based real estate brokerage. Welcome, Glenn.
Thanks, Derrick.
Today's topic, we're going to be discussing online lead generation for real estate agents, which Glenn is a master of. So Glenn, why don't you give us a little background about how you started in online lead generation and how you became an expert?
I've been in the real estate business since 2002. In April 2002, prior to that, I'd been involved with a number of internet-based companies. Back in the late 90s, started a company called Interactive Cafe. We ran the largest online service in Western Canada. At one point, I was actually a contract employee of America Online early in the 90s, actually pre-web. I came out of that and I started to look for some things to do. I started to do some websites for a local realtor, and he decided that I needed to get my real estate license. And I wasn't really excited about it, but I saw it as an opportunity to start to generate some internet leads and to see what would happen. And if I wasn't able to generate business from that, then I was going to leave the real estate business. But that year, I got licensed April 29, 2002, and between then and the end of the year, I sold 17 properties to clients that I met online. And I ended up being Rookie of the Year at the Prudential office I was at. And then in 2003, I did a little over $7.3 million in production. Again, just exclusively with clients that I met online. And that was up in Bellingham, Washington, and I was the #1 buyer's agent. So the internet really was my main focus. And in 2004, decided to continue to scale the internet lead generation side such that I actually started to start real estate teams in different cities. I was in Bellingham, Seattle, Portland, Oregon. We started a team in Nashville, Tennessee. We started a team in Las Vegas. And by 2006, we closed $73 million. And at that time, I was affiliated with Keller Williams. 2007, decided to start my own firm, more of a team-based firm approach. In 2008, we actually were on track to do over $100 million in production, almost exclusively internet lead gen. I generated over 100,000 leads, and we couldn't work even 20% of them. We had so many leads coming in. It turned into a really great business, and that's what we ultimately leveraged into being a real estate brokerage.
I guess it was the early mid-2000s you're talking about?
We started in 2002. We were doing mainly search engine optimization. So we were spending a ton of money being at the top of Google, Yahoo, and most of our traffic was coming from those two sites. But I also recognized that the market was changing. Google was changing their algorithms every quarter to every 6 months or so. And we knew that we weren't always going to be able to win the SEO game. And so we thought it'd be a good time to take our expertise, though, in terms of internet lead generation and actually focus that and build a real estate brokerage around it and help agents be good at lead generation and, more importantly, lead conversion. For me, lead generation is still the easiest thing to do in real estate. There's so many ways you can do it. The challenge is that most agents also don't know how to convert those leads. So that's the second part. There's the lead generation side, and then there's how do you convert those leads into closed transactions. Most agents get 100 leads, and they're lucky if they close 2 of them. And our average close ratio was about 9%. We had agents that had as much as high as a 20% close ratio, which is unheard of in the industry. And we still have agents that produce at a very high level.
What are the principles that you teach your team members about converting?
The first and foremost, most agents don't do anything of significant value for the consumers that they're working with.
What do you mean they don't do anything of value for them?
I'm talking about while they're in the lead stage. I think it was National Association of Realtors did a study and found that less than 1 in 5 leads generated online actually got a follow-up by an agent.
Why is that, you think?
I think it's because most agents have worked internet leads and haven't turned them into closings, so they feel like they're wasting their time. And so as a result, you've got so many agents out there that really feel like internet leads are a waste of time and money, and yet they still spend money on websites like Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com, and they generate these leads, but they totally ignore them in favor of their sphere, their referrals, and that being the market that they go after. So all these internet leads end up being orphaned, and they're literally aggravated. And so when somebody actually does something of value for them early on in the follow-up process, they become latched to that agent.
What's something of value that an agent can take action on?
What's the first thing that you're supposed to do?
Call them back immediately?
Within 5 minutes. What's the one thing that you can't do in reality when an internet lead comes in?
Thing you can't do when an internet lead comes in?
Call them back right away. Like most people are doing something. They're out showing a property. They're doing something that precludes the activity that they're being told to do.
Glenn, well, shouldn't most people have that stuff come into their smartphone and, a text or an email or something immediately?
Well, how many times have you shown a property and you get that internet lead comes in the middle of your second showing? And
personally, I'd excuse myself for a second, say I got to make a quick phone call the lead back and say, hey, I'm with somebody right now. I want to talk to you, and I'll call you within 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, that's me personally.
Right.
But most people probably don't do that.
Now, maybe you may be able to set some time a little bit later on. But one of the big challenges for us as real estate agents is we just really don't have good time management skills. And so for me, personally, I just never, so I wouldn't call somebody back as soon as the lead hit. If I was out showing a client property, I just didn't call them back. But what I did find, and this was early on in my career, is that if I went and if somebody requested information on 123 Main Street, I could write them back and say, hey, thanks for requesting information on 123 Main Street. But I'd write them back and I'd say, I haven't seen 123 Main Street. And I would do this. I would call the listing agent and say, hey, I've got somebody that's interested in your home. I haven't seen your home personally yet. I'd like to come by and take some additional photos and preview the property. Would that be okay? So I would literally then go take photos, and then I'd get back and then I'd write an email and say, hey, did take the liberty to take some additional photos and visit this property. In your email, you'll see a link to a number of additional photos, and call you back in 45 minutes. So I would actually tell them what I was going to do. I'd actually go and do it, and then I'd go ahead and call them back. This might be 5 hours after I got the lead, but I call them back, and they expect my call because they've checked their email. They've seen that I'm doing something of value for them. They actually get the item of value, and I keep my word as to when I'm going to call them back. And now I've got way more control of my time, and all of a sudden I've got this huge loyalty factor because I've just done something for them that they didn't get from anybody else. 95% of agents, the best they do is simply email the listing back to the client, and then call them back and ask them when they'd like to go see the property. That's what 95% of the agents do. So the bar is set so low that as soon as you show that you're doing something of value, something of service, all of a sudden you just tip the scale in your favor. That's why my first full year I did $210,000 in gross commission income.
Wow, that's incredible. I do something similar when my investor clients are looking for a building and we've identified 2 or 3 candidates. I like to go out there with my iPhone and do a short video showing the surrounding area, some of the neighboring buildings, and of course walk the property as well, and try to give them a better perspective, because most investment brokers don't do a lot of photos. They certainly don't do video. So if I go out there and I can upload to YouTube and send them a link to the video, they really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've got a question. How did you build your lead generation back in the early days before Kunversion and all these IDX sites? I mean, what were you doing? Were you hand building websites and then doing your own SEO?
So when I got in the business in 2002, there were a few IDX players. So I just found the best of who was out there. So I've always been on that quest and looking for what was the best platform. In our market up here at one time, there was a company, but it was a company called Oceansoft, and they had one of the best search solutions available. And they did service a number of agents in the market, but agents weren't driving traffic to their website, and so as a result, they weren't getting the leads. I drove traffic to my website through SEO, and I was even doing Google pay-per-click and other things back in 2002, and I was generating leads. I was one of the very first agents to use a map-based search solution on my site. So that was a company called WolfNet came out with a map-based searching solution, and this was in about 2004, 2005, and I was the first person to put map-based search, so you could literally start to polygon your search out and figure out your search area as a consumer and block it out, and I could create separate web pages that actually featured areas based on map search. I've always been really on sort of the cutting edge of looking at what solutions are out there, adopting them, making sure that they're the right price point. One company that came out was Boomtown. A lot of agents swore by them, and Boomtown did extremely well, but they were just absorbently priced. Just to start, and then they had the quirky model relative to exclusive markets or semi-exclusivity, and it was great for them, but it was, in my opinion, was overpriced, and so I never subscribed to Boomtown, but I did love the Boomtown's functionality.
Wait, Glenn, excuse me. Can you explain what Boomtown is for maybe some of my listeners here who've never heard of it or don't know how it works?
So Boomtown is effectively it's a full-blown registration-based IDX that gives you a Zillow-esque style search solution, and it was designed for the real estate agent professional to be able to roll out to their clients and to drive leads into via the traditional methods of pay-per-click, search engine optimization, Craigslist advertising. There were other platforms that we end up using. We used Real Geeks for a number of years. We roll it to all of our agents now Kunversion, but it provides that Zillow-esque experience. It's got the back end, Craigslist posting tools, it's got SEO built all in it and all those types of things. And we ended up putting a deal together with them where we pick up the bill on conversion and every agent in our company gets it for free. It ranks right there with all the other platforms.
Why don't I show the audience what the site looks like?
Search on Bellingham.com is a conversion site. So this it's a great looking site. It's got lots of great content and pictures are really large. The number one surveyed question, NAR has done the survey and a number of real estate brokerages have done the survey. Number one thing that consumers are looking for are big pictures.
All right, let me share my screen here.
And a lot of people are going to look at the site and that aren't consumers, and they're going to go, oh, I don't like the site. They're looking for their photo. Where's the headshot? Where's the agents? It goes straight to the latest listed properties. They're wanting to see the properties that were just listed. So those are at the top. Then on the left-hand side, you can search for, areas, beds, bathrooms. Click on one of these just listed listings. So you come in there. It leads with the photos. And in addition, it's got similar properties, just like you'd see on a syndicated site. So you see similar listings. And what percentage similar is it? And you'll get to see different things relative to the zip code and things that are going on in that particular market. It'll prompt you to actually ask a question. You can be connected with an agent who actually has a significant interest in helping you as a consumer rather than just a random agent. It's a really exciting app. We're really excited to be able to roll it out to all of our agents. It leads with what consumers are looking for, the information on the property, really great photos.
If you're an agent at eXp Realty, you get that conversion site as part of your being a part of eXp Realty. Is that correct?
You do. For a platform that can be rolled out to every agent anywhere in the country, I can't think of a better platform that we could be rolling out to our agents.
So what's driving traffic? Google AdWords, SEO traffic?
Which is a great question. I mean, a website without traffic doesn't really amount to anything. As an agent, one of the things that you get is phone calls from Zillow, from Trulia. They're all trying to sell you a zip code. They're all trying to sell you an upgrade on your existing listings. Working in this industry for as long as I have, especially on the lead generation side, I get to look at these with an eye that actually understands what the heck they're talking about. So there's some agents that actually pay for, like, they just bought all the zip codes for a particular market. They're spending $40,000 a month. The crazy part of it is when you spend $40,000 a month, one, you've got to be super accountable of those leads. The other thing is these are non-exclusive leads. That lead will go to a different agent and they'll sell that lead again. So if the average consumer requests information on 5 properties, goes to 5 different agents in the same zip code, that lead now was monetized at $1,000. Now you take this one step further and you figure out that the industry average for closing internet-based leads is around 2%. That means that every one of those third-party syndicated leads is a $10,000 fee to a third-party syndicator when the gross commission might not even be $10,000. So it's a lose-lose on almost every count to do lead generation through these third-party sites.
You're saying that an agent using something like Kunversion here and proper use of SEO, Google AdWords, pay-per-click, whatever you guys recommend, is a way better way to go than spending thousands on Zillow or Redfin?
Well, we're rolling out a program. It's finally become obvious that we as a company have to roll out programs for agents. We're going to be able to generate the same number of leads on an exclusive basis at a 75% reduction of cost versus the third-party listing syndicators. And if you want to be even less than that, we'll show you exactly how we're generating those leads so you can generate them yourself for a better quality of lead on your website. So every time they request information on a property, it comes back to you, it's yours. And so your lead generation cost may be on an individual lead basis at 10%.
Now, are these mainly buyer leads or do seller leads come in? I mean, obviously some of the people that are buying, trading up, but what about people that are just looking for, possibly to sell and they're looking at comps and they're just, surfing the web looking at the competition? So
one of the most exciting new ways to generate leads is on the seller side. For years, we were exclusively on the buyer side. My previous company before we started eXp Realty was Buyer Tours Realty. That was the name of the company because we were doing the virtual tours for buyers that we were generating online because buyer leads were the easiest leads to generate. Buyer leads now are almost on par with seller leads. You can generate almost as many seller leads as you can buyer leads. And in addition to that, you can generate seller leads at a lower cost per lead than you can buyer leads, which is unheard of. This couldn't have been done 3 years ago. And this has to do with social media. I've been talking to some agents who are talking about seller leads at less than $3 per seller lead. The idea of being able to generate home valuation leads, so that's effectively the lead strategy. Generate those home valuation leads, so people who are interested in the value of their home and getting followed up by a real estate professional in figuring out the value of their home. Zillow provides the Zestimate. First of all, the Zestimate is crap. It's simply a pretty object to get somebody's attention to come use the website that means nothing other than here's a number that Zillow makes up with their magical formula that even they'll admit the average is off at least 10 to 20%. So you've got a price that's off. So on a $400,000 home, they're off $50,000 to $100,000 just on Zillow's own numbers, and you don't even know which way it's off. You don't know if it's too high. You don't know if it's too low. So the number means nothing. It just is a way of sort of maybe gauging the market, but it doesn't actually give you price. Only a real estate professional can really give you a good, honest valuation that even comes close to what a property sells at. And that's where home valuations really play a significant role in lead generation.
I'm pretty sure the consumers know that the Zillow number is crap because whenever I talk to somebody and they say, oh, it was, the property was $1.2 million on Zillow, but I know it's not accurate. I mean, they all know, so I think they just use that as a gauge within 20%, I think. So the consumers caught on to Zillow. In our market here in LA, Santa Monica, Venice, Silicon Beach, dude, I would rather have one solid seller lead than 10 buyer leads.
I think that real estate agents in general over time become more and more focused on seller leads. I think it's one of those things, it's like as a martial artist, and I've been doing martial arts for years, everybody starts as a white belt. In the real estate business, being a white belt is working with buyers. Not to say that you can't make a career and you can't work your entire life working with buyers, but eventually those buyers turn into sellers. And those if you did a good job for them as buyers, they're also referring that you their friends and families, and that's where you're going to want to spend more and more time. So on the internet, it's just like anything else. If you're following up on internet leads, people who you don't know, you're still going to have to provide some level of significant value to get their attention, because most consumers don't think that there's any difference between one real estate agent and another. So on the seller side, you do need to do some creative things to get their attention if you don't have those already pre-existing relationships.
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, it's just, I always tell agents, you got to plant the seeds in your database and work that seller lead and put them on your email list. I've got some valuable handouts that I send to owners, especially if they're under Los Angeles rent control. I send them something needs to be posted like near the mailbox notifying the tenants about rent control. So I laminate a little poster that the city wants you to post, and I send it out to people. And most of the time they're pretty appreciative. They're like, wow, thank you. I knew I needed to do this, but I just didn't know how to get it done. So another great thing about eXp Realty is the tech support that we have.
The thing I hear consistently is, I never knew you guys offered so much, and if I did, I would have moved sooner. And so that's just a common theme.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, as we kind of start to wrap things up here, I just wanted to thank you again for sharing your expertise. I mean, you're an absolute master of online lead generation, and I really wanted to share this with my audience because I think a lot of people know they have to do it, but they're not sure how to do it. So just before we wrap up here, what say 2 or 3 steps should somebody who wants to get started really generating some good online leads do?
Join eXp Realty, and we'll just do it for you. You don't have to learn it. You just have to work with quality leads coming into your database. The reason why Zillow's grown as fast as they have, the reason why Realtor.com grew as fast as they did, is because there's a lot of agents who would rather have somebody else do it for them. And if you join eXp, we'll do it for you. We'll get it done. We'll do it at less than 75% than third-party syndication sites. And if you do want to learn how to do it, we'll sit with you. We'll teach you how to do a PPC campaign, how to set up a Google AdWords account, how to put together targeted URLs and strategies. We'll teach you all that. But if you're more of the, I just want it done for me, just jump on in the cloud. We'll get it done for you. We'll make it happen. You have leads showing up in your inbox tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, Glenn, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know my audience is going to get a lot out of this conversation. And if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach you?
I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter. Not hard to find.
Nobody's hard to find these days. Well, again, thank you so much for talking with us and educating myself and my audience. And we'll see you soon. And again, this is Derrick Ruiz with eXp Realty, your apartment broker and expert, author of Cloud Agent, with Glenn Sanford, the founder and CEO of eXp Realty, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Derrick.